Why don't I believe you?
Today in Judge Karen's court.
How did you meet this guy?
I met him 5 years ago in Hollywood. He swept me off my feet.
She bet her gambling boyfriend would pay her back.
So you have been with him before to Las Vegas to gamble?
Plenty of times, yes.
Have you ever given him money to gamble?
Your Honor, I've never given away money.
Were they loans, or was she happily funding her high-stakes high roller so she could partake in the profits?
Why do you think this time it wasn't a loan?
If we're going to split the winnings, then it's obviously not a loan, because if it was a loan, then I would keep my winnings and then just give you your money back.
Now, find out who plays the winning hand in Judge Karen's court.
The whole rule of gambling is that the house wins.
Real judge. Real drama. Real justice. And now, you're about to enter Judge Karen's court. Plaintiff Shay Collier is suing her boyfriend for $2,150 in gambling loans. Shay says the defendant is a big-time high roller, and she claims she loaned him money to gamble on numerous occasions. But Shay says he's now reneging on paying her back, and she's furious. Defendant Vic Petrosian admits to taking money from Shay, but categorically denies they were loans. Vic argues that he gambled on behalf of the both of them and says that when he won, Shay happily partook in half the winnings. Vic says Shay's only suing him now because his luck finally ran out.
So, Ms. Collier, you're suing Mr. Petrosian for $2,150 in gambling loans. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And your position, sir, is that what? She gave you this money?
Yeah, it was more like a investment I was playing on behalf of both of us.
Okay.
And we were supposed to split the winnings.
So what's your relationship with her?
It's my girlfriend.
She's currently your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And you couldn't work this out, and that's why you filed a lawsuit against them?
Well, I just thought that I would like fair judgment on this, and so...
Well, how did you meet this guy?
I met him 5 years ago in Hollywood. He swept me off my feet. He came up to me, and I liked his approach, and he was a gentleman.
How did he sweep you off your feet?
Well, when I met him, I was really young. I was 18. I've never really seen the world. I never really...
So he took you around the world?
Yeah.
Where did he take you?
I've been to Armenia, I've been to Turkey, he took me to Canada, New York,
So
Miami,
he's been a good
Florida.
boyfriend.
Totally.
Oh, okay. So he swept you off your feet. And so how's the relationship been from your standpoint?
So far, so good. Don't really have any complaints besides some financial disputes.
Okay. So you, how did this loan, the gambling loan, take place?
It was, his birthday is in July, so we decided to go to our favorite place. We love going to Las Vegas.
What do you do when you go to Las Vegas?
We love to eat and watch shows, and he likes to play.
So you have been with him before to Las Vegas to gamble?
Plenty of times, yes.
Plenty of times?
Yeah.
And how often do you go to Vegas to gamble?
I go a lot, maybe once every month or two.
Really?
Yeah.
And when you go to Vegas to gamble, how much money do you normally spend?
It matters on how I budget it, but
Give me a range.
couple of thousand is the average.
About $2,000?
About $2,000-3,000.
Once a month?
Twice a month.
Or twice a month?
Or,
so
yeah.
$4,000 sometimes?
Sometimes I might go if there's a tournament that I'm interested in. I might go often, let's say every other week, but some weeks it's kind of slow, so I stay in LA.
So you've been gambling since you met her in 2005?
Yeah, pretty much.
And did he take you gambling when you first met him?
Honestly, when I first met him, I really wasn't in that world. I really kind of chose not to see. Even still now, after 5 years, I really don't like gambling that much.
You just realized after knowing him for 5 years, a man that gambles twice a month, spending between $2,000 and $4,000 a month, that you don't like gambling? What changed? What changed last month on his birthday?
It's something that I just choose not to see.
Okay, but what changed? You said something happened.
When we're in Vegas and he's playing, I go shopping, I go get massages. I'm not actually there at the tables with him.
Okay. Have you ever loaned him money before?
Yes, I've loaned him money before.
How many different
He's always
times?
paid me back.
Other than this $2,150, you've loaned him money before?
Yes, I've loaned him money before. He's always paid me back.
How many different times have you loaned him money?
I'd say definitely over 5.
Is that true? She's loaned you money in the past?
That's true.
Oh, how much money? What's the most amount of money she's ever loaned you in the past?
I'm not sure, but she always has helped me out in certain jams, and I've always, taken care of her, paying her back.
When Judge Karen's court continues.
So how did this $2,150 become an issue?
This was the first time we went to Vegas that he didn't already have money on him.
How long have you been unemployed?
A year and a half.
How did you think he was going to pay you back if he hasn't worked in a year and a half? By winning?
Yeah, he wins. He wins.
But he loses too.
And later,
How much money you got in the bank today?
Today,
Yeah, today.
$500.
$500. And don't you have to pay rent?
Yeah,
Don't you have to eat?
coming up.
Put gas in your car? And think about if you decide to have children with this man. You could be gambling to buy baby milk.
you're back in Judge Karen's court as plaintiff Shay Collier sues her boyfriend Vic Petrosian for the return of $2,150 in gambling loans.
So how did this $2,150 become an issue?
This $2,150 became an issue because this was the first time we went to Vegas that he didn't already have money on him. So it was me taking the money prior to the trip. So we planned this trip the week of his birthday. I pulled out $1,450 before we went. We went to Vegas. He played a little bit. He lost, and then when we were there, I also loaned him some more money when we were there.
So for a total of $2,150.
Yes.
So why do you think this time it wasn't a loan? Because you told me at least 5 other times she loaned you money. Why not this time?
Right. Well, this time it was my birthday, and she said, "Let's go to Vegas." I said, "Okay." I'm not, really financially ready for a Vegas trip, and she was like, "Oh, I have money." I said, "Okay." So I said, "We'll split whatever I win," assuming that she's gonna finally kind of, because she's always, like she said, staying in the room and just going for the perks.
Right.
So I thought she finally wants to actually join in the action.
Right.
So when I told her that we're gonna split the profits, it was more like not a loan. We didn't specify. In the past when I borrow money from her, I would say, let's say, give me $200 and I'll pay you back tomorrow, or give me any amount and I'll pay you back on this day.
But you didn't say it this time.
This time we didn't say
Is that true
it.
what he's telling me, ma'am? That in the past it was understood without a question that it was a loan, but this time it wasn't so understood.
It was definitely understood. I'm not in the business of loaning money, and he knows that. I go to school, I work hard for my money. I save my money. The only reason why I was able to even loan him that money in the first place was because I saved my money. I'm not the type to go shopping and stuff like that.
Well, what
my
do you
money
do for
is
a
spent
living?
on bills.
What do you do for a living?
Well, right now I'm unemployed. Right now I'm just going to school full time.
What do you do when you're not unemployed?
I waitress.
You're a waitress. And what do you
Yes.
do?
I'm unemployed right now too, but I used to be in retail.
You used to be in retail. How
Yeah.
long have you been unemployed?
A year and a half.
And how did you think he was going to pay you back if he hasn't worked in a year and a half? By winning?
Yeah, he wins. He wins.
But he loses too.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole rule of gambling is that the house wins. And the house wins more often than any individual wins. I know he's lost more money than he's ever won. Is that true? Or you see that he wins more than he loses?
He wins more, but he also I would say is more of a professional poker player. I've never met any other person who knows more about poker, who's read more books than him.
So he's a professional poker player. Is that what you
He
are?
also plays poker.
I try to be. I mean, I would consider myself an amateur, but I would try to be a professional player if I could.
Right.
But you need a big bankroll to withstand the high variance of playing those games.
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you worked?
Probably in March.
March.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been any money coming into you. You live together?
No.
There hasn't been any money coming into your household or any money coming into your household for a long period of time.
Right.
So how are you surviving?
I'm living off of my savings.
Okay, and you? You're living off of her savings.
No, I'm just trying to grind with the poker money.
Have you ever won one of these poker tournaments?
Oh yeah, plenty of time.
And what's the most amount of money you've ever won?
The most was one time I hit 140,000 in 06.
$140,000?
Yeah.
You were with her then.
Yeah.
You had a lot of massages then, right? And so you just gamble that money back though.
It's always going into,
But that's my point. I mean, what do you ever get out of gambling that is really yours? Because guess what? The house still wins.
True.
Because if you take that money and you put it back into the gambling pool, then you didn't really win the money. You didn't take $150,000 and invest it anywhere. You just put it back into the gambling pot.
Coming up on Judge Karen's Court.
Have you ever given him money to gamble?
Your Honor, I've never given away money.
5-year relationship, she says she's never just given you any money.
Right,
Never.
yeah, she's stingy with that. Yeah, she's always...
She's been stingy, but this time around your birthday, she gave up $2,150. Miss Stingy over here?
Right, it was kind of shocking.
Judge Karen's Court is back in session as Shay Collier claims her boyfriend Vic Petrosian owes her the $2,150 she loaned him to gamble.
And then you see he had a problem?
I did, but you know, knowing the situation and us both not working, you always feel like, well, I don't want to jinx it. What if I give him this money and he wins it and he turns it around, you know?
Right. Have you given him money before? Have you ever given him money to gamble?
Your Honor, I've never given away money.
Is that true? She's never given you any money?
No. It's always been a loan that I've paid her back.
But I don't understand why this time you don't think it was a loan then. 5-year relationship, she says she's never just given you any money.
Right,
ever.
yeah, she's stingy with that. Yeah, she's always...
She's been stingy, but this time around your birthday, she gave up $2,150. Miss Stingy over here?
Right, it was kind of shocking. Especially when I said, okay, we'll split the... Because this is the way I'm thinking. If we're going to split the winnings, then it's obviously not a loan. Because if it was a loan, then I would keep my winnings and then just give you your money back.
Well, let me ask this question. What can we do to stop you from gambling? Because you really don't have anything. How much money you got in the bank today?
Today?
Yeah, today.
$500.
$500. And don't you have to pay rent?
Yeah.
Don't you have to eat?
Coming up.
Put gas in your car? Pay that cell phone bill?
Right.
Wireless? You probably don't even have wireless. You got wireless?
Got wireless.
Okay. Well, how are you going to pay all that with $500?
It's tough.
Take a bus up to Las Vegas and hope that you win some money? That's no way to live life. And then think about if you decide to have children with this man. You're going to be gambling to buy baby milk.
I know that's
what kind of daddy is this guy going to be? Living this life, 5 years you've been with this man who you said swept you off your feet, and today he got $500 in the bank.
That's the life of someone who plays. I mean, everybody at one point crashes down.
You think this is it for him?
I think this is it for him. He's honestly a really good person, and I hate being in this situation, but it's just not fair. I work very hard for my money, and I'm living off of my savings right now. There's no way I would ever agree to just giving away money.
Well, you know, gambling is just as bad an addiction as alcohol or drugs. It's just another addiction.
It's a real serious addiction, Your Honor. I mean, I feel it on myself, but...
How have you felt this addiction in your life? How have you felt it, the negative parts of it?
The negative parts of it, it's, you know, it stops you from focusing on work, focusing on, you know, a career or building a skill that you can use in the future because I gotta admit, the money is enticing, you know? It's hard out there, economy is tough. I might have $500 in the bank account today, but if next week I have $10,000 in my pocket, not a lot of people are going to be able to match that. So, you know, that's always in the back of your head.
When you average it all out, though, when you average it all out, I bet you have probably more low times than high times. Because remember, we agreed that when you win that $10,000, you're going to give it back to them anyway. It's just slowly going back to them. So that $10,000 never works for you. It works for the house. If you don't get help, somewhere down the line, the road's going to come to an end. It may be coming to an end with this lady because she says she is fed up.
Yeah, this last year and a half since economy's been so bad and business has been so bad, everybody's just kind of waiting for me to make something happen.
In your family.
And my family.
And is that cultural? Is it? Are
is.
you the oldest boy?
Yep, exactly.
And you're Armenian?
Exactly.
And so in your culture, you're expected to provide for your family.
I'm expected to make it happen
any way possible. Mm-hmm. Wow, so you have to overcome a cultural obstacle as well as this gambling problem of yours.
Right.
Well, I think you need some help.
It's tough. I mean, I don't know if there is help for this situation, because it's more like a way of life now. I'm actually trying to
888 admit it. 1-888 admit it. That's the number. Gamblers Anonymous. And I bet you there's somebody in your situation. You are not the one and only person that's suffering with what you are suffering with.
Oh, I know that.
You're not. But you got to get help. And I can imagine how difficult it must be, because you have this family that's expecting you to take care of them. We're in a bad economy here, and then you have this problem. So it's like three things going on, and then you got this girl that may not be with you. Are you going to stick with him?
I'm going to stick with him.
You have to stop being an enabler too. Okay? You know that this man has a gambling problem. You have to say, listen, I'll pay a bill for you, but I'm not giving you the money to go to Vegas. Yeah. I'll pay your wireless bill because I know you're trying to help your mama, but I'm not giving you money to go to Vegas. That's how you help him. You don't give this man any money until he gets some help.
When we return, Judge Karen will render her verdict. During the commercial break, the courtroom gallery voted for whom they thought would win this dispute. And now, here's how they called the case.
Now I'm ready to rule. Generally, I feel that when a person throws good money after bad, I've had a lot of women come in front of me and say, I gave him this and I gave him that, and I say, you were a fool. That's generally how I rule. What makes me feel differently about this case is that for 5 years you've known this woman and she has never given you money. You even called her stingy. You said every time she gave you money, it was a loan. So I can't believe that Miss Stingy over here pulled out $2,150 and say, baby, here, I have turned over a new leaf. I don't buy it. So I am ruling in favor of the plaintiff. I'm hoping that you find your way out of this problem that you're in. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,150. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
More to come in Judge Karen's court.
I think I'll definitely loan him more money. I guess I just have to be more specific of that it's just a loan.
In the future, I'll probably just try to keep her out of it. It's more of a man's world out there anyway.
Why don't I believe you?